This is Draffet. This is Draffet Store, and this is Draffet's 2012 election. Since today, November 6th, is the elections here in the United States, which I did vote. Now, I was just watching a video from We Are Change, and Matt Radowski was going around and interviewing people, and only one person got it right. In the United States, we have two processes for electing the president. Popular vote, which myself goes out to a ballot box in a specific district, marks on a little piece of paper, what we vote for, blah 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 blah, blah. And then the news, goes through, or they go through and tally it, and then the results are given out on the news. And then there's the Electoral College. Now the Electoral College was originally implemented to help with the fact that at the original founding of the 13 colonies, not all the people could get into the area from wherever they were living to vote. There's more to it, and I'm not going to go and waste my time reading like I have on past videos and really screw up the video. But my personal take on it is, it worked at one time, as the 13 colonies went from 13 to 20 to 50 plus the territories, and we've gotten it to where people can come in. The education level of the people has increased to my favorite, bacon. To both poor and rich having an education, a decent education. Should be amended and taken out of the Constitution, because one, in the last at least two of the last three elections, the president was elected by the Electoral College. Popular votes swung towards the other candidate, while the Electoral College votes. So, in essence, if you want to look at it this way, is that myself and everybody else who voted against the other person, and they got the most popular votes, was just given this to the face, and the guy that didn't have the popular vote won. Two, I look at it like this also. Since they're going to try to amend all of the, trying to enforce and amend all of these other constitutional rights things, making gun laws that go against the Constitution, freedom of speech laws that go against the Constitution, finding ways around, illegally finding ways to go around search and seizure laws, and the whole. I can go over the list of every other one. Speedy trial. Speedy trial. You should be in a trial. Boom, boom, out within a year. Within a certain amount of time. If they end up having people that still haven't. There is a prison above. I remember this a little bit before 9/11, and around 9/11, there's a jail in the middle of New York that they were bringing up the fact that there were some people in the jail, in a special section of the jail, that never read their rights. They were there for political reasons, and they had not seen a trial, and some of them had been there for 10, 11 years. That's just only one example. Another example, some court cases taking over a year for evidence stuff. 6 months to a year from the beginning of the start of the trial to the end of the trial. But again, getting back, this is the election one. So I did like all the other people, or sheeple, or whatever term you want to use, and waited in line to vote. I voted my the particular way I did it. I'm no longer in support of the Democratic or Republican parties. I find all politicians corrupt, and most of the politicians involved with both the Democratic and Republican parties ultimately corrupted. There are very few exceptions, like Ron Paul. I think he understands that he needs support of one of the major two parties. The only reason why he hasn't run independent. I voted for Gary Johnson. I did a write-in. Here in Michigan, he was not on the ballot, so I wrote him in. I support pretty much all of everything that he had, and I'm not talking, I hear all these people, oh, he's a Christian-minded, he's my values for this and my values for this. I don't care about the values. Laws and the implementation of the laws is what I cared about. Gary Johnson and Ron Paul, both for what I believe needs to be done, morally or ethically, religious. It doesn't matter. Values. It doesn't matter. That this is what needs to be done. Okay, we need school loans taken care of. We need it into a better system. We need our debt taken care of. We need jobs increased. We need stuff that's illegal for no other reason other than big business, pharmacy, can't produce, do whatever. People in jail for anything. I was talking about this at work, and so before I get all really tensed up and unable to be understandable, before Prohibition, alcohol was legal. After Prohibition, alcohol was illegal, so the production of alcohol became illegal. So legal businessmen, once it flipped over, became criminals. Same way with a lot of the drug laws. These supposed people who are detrimental to society, who are doing all this evil crime, it is just the fact that the crime is illegal. Now they're criminals. Okay, now I'm not talking about robbery, I'm not talking about murder, I'm not talking about theft, I'm not talking about rape or child molestation. I'm talking about two consenting adults. One has a product, the other one wants the product. Cannot do business because it is illegal. Now, whatever the moral ramifications with drug use can be looked at with alcohol. Alcohol is totally legal, yet people steal from their parents to get drugs. Teenagers hide the fact they're drinking from their parents, do it illegally under the age. A lot of people drink the wrong alcohols, and they go from being a somewhat decent human being to a total shitheel. Alcohol problems cause one major cause of child abuse, spousal abuse. Not totally, because there's some just guys who don't need drugs or alcohol just to be a total shit heel. But there are other guys who they're decent in the morning, they get drunk, and they get abusive. They beat their wives, they beat their kids, they beat their dog, they beat their neighbor. Um, and then people make excuses for them. And that's the other thing. Um, you know, I believe that with these other people that the election, these things should be, and wholeheartedly support. I think it's Colorado, Washington, and a number of the other states that were in to repeal the hemp and marijuana laws. I do not smoke marijuana, but I believe that if you're a legal adult, you should be allowed to. I've never, unless it's been laced with something, I have personally never known a pothead that's beat his wife, smoked a joint, beat his wife, smoked his joint, kicked his kid. That doesn't mean, it might not happen. Most of the people I've ever met that smoked actually just straight pot, actually had really interesting ideas, really mellow, occasionally, whatever. Known a few people that had ADHD. Personally, known a few people that have had ADHD that the ADHD medication didn't work, but the pot did. And I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff. Okay, so with the election, there was a whole bunch of other stuff. It's just not voting Obama and Romney. There's important proposals also, depending on the state. Like my proposals were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 was a bridge. Who had the right to, who has the right to vote on the bridge and who should be able to vote on the bridge. 5 is an energy, and and a number of these proposals were to be cemented into the Michigan State Constitution. But we should have a right to vote on this stuff. Okay. Everybody confuses capitalism in the United States as a capitalist country. It's the government. No. The United States government is a constitutional republic. We have the Constitution, which is the law that is stipulated. The way we vote on the Constitution is through democracy. We technically aren't we are technically, government-wise, not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic that uses democratic procedures to elect officials and put bills and ratify certain bills and proposals thusly. Or, in the case of certain laws, elect the officials who are going to create the laws. Now, there's a book from Terry Pratchett that, every time the elections come up, since I've read it, makes me funny. Makes me laugh. In the book, I think it was Small Gods, I might be off, but he talks about this country that every time that, they have a specific way of voting, of their candidate being morally obligated or whatever, and, specific look for it. And then when, the election comes about, they elect the same type of person, they 6 months down the road execute them, and then have it, of election to re-elect another doofus that was just as similar to the same doofus they just put to death. And from a political satirical look, that is exactly how the United States elections run. We bitch and complain about one guy. He ends up being the same to a point as the next guy. So we go through and either re-elect him or elect another dumbass that's almost the exact same way, if not worse. Instead of voting outside doing what's right and voting outside the box, we open the box and see, oh, we got a new prize. Ah, shit, it's the same as the old prize. This is a draffet store. This is election And whichever way it goes, I voted my heart. I hope you did too. Have fun.